Cryptocurrency group lobbies Congress against bills that target Russian oligarchs. The Blockchain Association has been lobbying against two bills designed to curtail the use of cryptocurrency as a way to evade sanctions. The Mortgage Bankers Association, an advocacy group for the real estate finance industry, listed on their first quarter lobbying disclosure a focus on a bill intended to expose the assets of oligarchs. The cryptocurrency industry has been quietly lobbying U.S. lawmakers against legislation designed to prevent Russian oligarchs from using digital currencies to evade sanctions imposed on Russian President Vladimir Putin's allies and their companies following Russia's attack on Ukraine. The Blockchain Association, a lobbying group that represents more than 70 crypto platforms, including Ripple, Crypto.com, and Dragonfly Capital, is trying to convince Congress that cryptocurrencies aren't being used by wealthy Russians to avoid sanctions. It's working with lobbying shop Forbes Tate Partners against legislation that would impose more sanctions on already penalized Russians who are aiming to use crypto as a way to avoid sanctions. The bill would also empower the Treasury Secretary to block crypto trading platforms based in the U.S. from doing business with those in Russia. The legislation poses a grave threat to the industry, which critics say has become popular for clandestine transactions because they cannot be traced. It would essentially subject digital currencies to some of the same rules that require federally insured banks to know their customers, combat money laundering, and report suspicious transactions to regulators. The group is lobbying against the Russian Digital Asset Sanctions Compliance Act, according to its first quarter report. The House bill would target Russians and their affiliated companies who try to use cryptocurrency to get around their own sanctions. Crypto industry leaders say the digital currencies can't be used to evade sanctions. The crypto industry fancies itself as an alternative financial system, an alternative bank. Banks have been sanctioned left, right, and center, and banks are pulling out of Russia, Democratic Rep. John Garamendi of California, who is a co-sponsor of the House bill, told CNBC in a recent interview. So if they fancy themselves a financial mechanism, then they're in the same league, the same situation, as Bank of America or a Russian bank. The group is also lobbying on the accompanying bill sponsored by Sen. Elizabeth Warren, D-Mass, in the Senate, according to its first quarter lobbying disclosure report. That bill, titled the Digital Asset Sanctions Compliance Enhancement Act of 2022, an almost identical name as the one introduced by Democrats in the House, is also designed to impose sanctions with respect to the use of cryptocurrency to facilitate transactions by Russian persons subject to sanctions, according to a summary of the bill. Russian oligarchs can continue to use crypto to move their money around. So we're just going to give Treasury the authorization to treat these crypto platforms much like the banks are treated. That is, you've got to know your customer, and you can't be dealing with people who are in violation of sanctions, Warren said during the interview last month. Warren accused the crypto industry of undermining U.S. national security and the sanctions against Russia. It's no surprise that the unregulated crypto industry has deep pockets and an army of lobbyists who are fighting against basic rules to keep consumers safe. But it's shocking that they would also work to undermine U.S. national security and our sanctions regime against Russia, Warren said in an emailed statement. The Mortgage Bankers Association, an advocacy group for the mortgage finance industry, similarly listed on their quarterly filing the Klepto Act, a bipartisan bill backed by Warren, along with Sen's Sheldon Whitehouse, DRI, Bill Cassidy, RLA, and Roger Wicker, RMIS, according to the group's first quarter report. A representative for the Mortgage Bankers Association initially did not return a request for comment.